All right. Good evening, everybody. How you doing? We had a hell of a game last night in Out of the Park baseball in 1974. Getting back to 1971 here, leading to the legacy mode as we play through this season. So 1971 now in Action PC baseball. And let's have a look at the standings here. In the National League East, the Pittsburgh Pirates are 8.5 games up. They have the best record in baseball right now at 34 wins, 13 losses. They're 8.5 up on the New York Mets and the Chicago Cubs, each tied for second place. That's the NL East. Hey, there's Dwayne Martz. How you doing, Dwayne? Good to see you, my friend. Hope you're doing well, buddy. Things warming up here a little bit in our neck of the woods, and I'm loving it. Loving it, baby. All right. In the National League West, it's the Houston Astros 5.5 up on Atlanta. Houston at 29 and 19. And everybody else below 500 in the National League West. In the American League East, it's the New York Yankees with a 3-game lead over the Detroit Tigers. The Yankees at 33 and 12. The Tigers at 31 and 16. Baltimore 6.5 out at 26 and 18. And in the American League West, the Oakland A's 5.5 up on the Chicago White Sox. The A's are at 32 and 17, and the Chicago White Sox are 23 and 19. Everybody else below 500. So the surprise thus far has been in the National League West to San Francisco, 7 games out. So we're not going to count them out yet, obviously. But as we are just in May at this point, but San Francisco should be atop the National League West, and that's just not happening. But that's all right. You know what? I don't play these games to make them come out exactly, but it's a lot of fun. So let's see what we got on tap here tonight for any interesting matchups that we might have. And also teams of contention. So tonight we're probably going to do A's versus Yankees. That's what it looks like. As I just have a quick gander here. I think that's a good one. Cubs Pirates, certainly a possibility. Jenkins and Blass. So we'll see how it all works out. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So, but definitely some American League action tonight. And let's go. We are on our way to the house that Ruth built. For indeed he did. Did he not? All right. We got lefties and boom. And we are ready to go. There we go. And welcome to Yankee Stadium. It's Oakland against New York. Game one of a doubleheader. So this is going to be a good one. Promises to be a battle between two solid teams. Catfish Hunter takes the mound for the A's. 12 starts in the year. He's 9 and 3 with an ERA of 2.68. This will be his first start against the Yankees. And opposing him, it's going to be a late scratcher. So we're going to have Fritz Peterson for the Yanks. 10 starts in the year, 5 and 3 with an ERA of 3.65. And this will be his first go-round against the Oakland Athletics. 70 degrees here in New York City and in the Bronx, borough, and calm. All right, we got to fix this ballpark. It tells you I haven't completely finished my my moving about of everything, but we'll fix that right now. So thanks for tuning in, good people. Indeed, indeed. Let's reset these labels. All right, and let's just get everybody fixed up here real quick. There we go. Let's move the second baseman over there. So Digital Diamond Baseball does this the best. I know Dwayne would definitely agree with that. You just pick that. You just click, and the player's there, man. I love that. But this is it's a thing, man. What can I say? It's a thing. Let's move this catcher back a little bit. There we go. What I don't understand is this is a really powerful PC that I'm on, but yet this is just still a little bit squiffy. I don't know if it's Visual Basic. This is really the only weird thing I find about Action PC Baseball is setting these up. All right, let's get our third baseman over there. Let's get our shortstop where he belongs. A second baseman, play him a little deep, doesn't matter. It's all sort of cosmetic. Center fielder playing a little shallow there. Let's fix the fences as close as we can. I don't know how precise this is. That's something I never got a chance to ask Steve Tate, and probably should have, is really how precise is this? These parks are not geo-referenced, so you can do things like this in out-of-the-park baseball, but the developer's already taken care of that, as has the great Mike Silva, who's still, as far as I know, going along with the big, beautiful baseball bash, and you gotta love it. You just gotta love it. I think we're looking pretty good here. Yeah. Except for our on deck guys. Let's fix it. Fix it. Get over there. And on deck home. And let's see how that's going to read up. Everybody looks a little bit better. Nope. Too much of a gap over there in left field. I am. I know I shouldn't be so picky about this, but I am. Let's rock center field back to where it goes. Right field back to where you go. And hopefully that's a little bit better. I can live with that. Let's turn off manual entry, because I don't want to deal with it, man. I do love manual entry, but I just don't want to deal. Let's turn it off. There, now you got to go back into options, something that I hope they will fix. Okay, we're good. All right, let's look at the starting defense for the New York Yankees here in 1971. In left field, it's Roy White. In center, Bobby Mercer. And in right, Jim Little. At first base, John Ellis. At second, Horace Clark. At short, Gene Michael. And Jerry Kenney at the hot corner. Behind the plate is Jake Gibbs. And on the mound is Fritz Peterson. Leading things off here, Bert Campaneris hitting .270 with 2 homers and 22 runs batted in. Let's play ball. And on 4 straight pitches, Peterson walks the speedy Bert Campaneris. So runner on for Oakland brings up Joe Rudi. Joe Rudi hitting .274 in the season with a home run and 15 runs batted in. So a changeup missing there by Fritz Peterson. Has the sign, and here is the pitch. And Campaneris off to the races. He slides in and safe. He had that. What a great jump Campaneris had. 12th stolen base of the season. And make sure. Hey, I'm sorry, guys. I got to pop out these comments. All these folks coming on. There's John DFW, JT Dutch, and Brother Jack Dawson. Welcome in, guys. Yeah, doing well, JT. How you doing, brother? I hope you're well as well. Pitchers and catchers have reported. It's a beautiful thing. We flirted with 40 degrees today in the Commonwealth, so take that. John says that he had something happen last night in Out of the Park baseball he's never seen before. So what was it, John? You're doing all right, JT? All right. I'd rather you be doing great, but as long as you're doing all right, that's a good start, man. Good start. All right, Joe Rudi in the box now. Peterson, 4-pitch walk to Campaneris. Campaneris promptly stole. Here's the pitch. Campaneris was off of the pitch. And this one smoked to right field all the way to the wall. Campaneris scores on this one. Joe Rudi will pick up the RBI. Going for 3. The tag by Kenny. Not in time. RBI. Triple for Joe Rudi. So Oakland draws first blood. All right, Reggie Jackson, wearing his Yankees livery but playing for Oakland, riding a 6-game hitting streak. All right, Fritz Peterson working out of the stretch. Peterson was 15-13 in the actual 1971 with a save. And again, in this season now, 5-3, and he's worked 81 1/3 innings. Peterson from the stretch, 0-2 pitch up the middle. Nice play over there at second. Joe Rudi will come in to score. Horace Clark going way to his right to get Reggie. So 2 in for Oakland, 1 out. John says runners on first and second, hard grounder to third, steps on third, over to second, over to first, triple play. Wow. So, yeah, I mean, triple plays are pretty rare. Nice, man. That is really cool. I had something a little less rare happen last night. Just because, I mean, I know they happen, but it was just a 6-3 double play. It was just really nice to see. But how about that, man? Hard grounder to third. Yep, goes to third, over to second, over to first, triple play. Man, you had to have been like, what? So I'm guessing since you've had that triple play, I don't know if anybody's had an unassisted triple play in this game. But again, or in any baseball game, they're extremely rare. I think I saw one or somebody do one that happened in Action PC Baseball. That's cool, John. Triple plays are fun. I think, yeah, just so rare, right? All right, here's Tommy Davis. Tommy Davis hitting a 305 clip, 5 runs batted in. So we are here game 49 for these Oakland Athletics. All right, Peterson now with the bases empty. Yeah, how did that happen, right? I'd be the same way. I'd be, kind of rubbing your eyes and, huh? Was that in when Smalls hits the ball? Remember that in Sandlot, right? Or no, he catches the ball. I'm sorry, he catches the ball. And the great Hambino, right? He's rubbing his eyes. That would be kind of like that kind of reaction, I think. Pretty amazing. Here's the pitch, 2-0 to Tommy Davis. Tapper back to Fritz Peterson, and he will fire on to first for the 1-3 putout. So 2 down, 2 in. And Sal Bando is ripping it up right now, leading in home runs and RBI in baseball, not just the American League, and hitting 316. So Sal Bando right now a little bit overperforming. Peterson brings it, 1-0 pitch. Tapper up to first. Ellis goes to the bag himself, and that does it. 2 runs on 1 hit, no errors, and nobody left. We go to the bottom of the first. The Oakland A's 2 and the New York Yankees come to bat. Starting defense for the Oakland Athletics of 1971. The play-by-play made a big deal of it, so that was cool. Yeah. Oh man, that's super cool. I wish. Did you record the game? Well, you don't have a. You don't. It'd be cool if you recorded the game and there was somehow we'd be able to see it, like even on the Discord or something. I mean, I believe you, but just to see a triple play would be so cool. Joe Rudi at third. Angel Mangual, we'll just change it to Angel, but Angel Mangual. In center, Reggie Jackson over and right. Tommy Davis at first, Dick Green at second, Bert Campaneris at short, Sal Bando at the hot corner, Dave Duncan catching. Got to get a picture for Dave Duncan. And on the mound is Catfish Hunter. All right. Do any of the games, Action PC, Out of the Park, etc., have a pickoff, run down, and tag out of the base runner? Yes. They do, actually. So with out of the park baseball, you have to play in pitch by pitch mode to see those types of things. Then you're going to see pickoff moves. You're going to see pitch outs, things like that. You're not going to usually you won't usually see pickups in at bat mode in out of the park baseball. Action PC baseball, yes, they do. I've seen rundowns in both games. Pocket Pennant Run also has them. Dwayne would have to tell me if Digital Diamond has them in the native engine. I haven't played Digital Diamond Baseball in for forever. Great game. I'm not comfortable with it right now. I'm waiting for Status Pro. But yeah, every baseball game, all of these, the top tier games, do have them. Baseball for Appa PC Baseball has them. as well. All right, here's Horace Clarke. Clarke leading off here for the Yankees. Clarke with a 256 average, 13 runs batted in for him. All right, Catfish Hunter has the sign from Dave Duncan. Here's the wind and the 1-2 pitch. Grounder to first, and Davis will take it to the bag unassisted. 1 up, 1 down for the Yankees here in the bottom of the first inning, as Jake Gibbs will be stepping in here. 250 average, 2 homers, 9 runs batted in for him. Lefty batter, 2-0 pitch, fly ball, shallow right. Green going out, Jackson coming in, calls off Green, makes the grab. 2 up, 2 down for the Bronx Bombers. And here's Roy White, switch hitter, batting lefty against Catfish Hunter. Hitting .374 in the season, 8 home runs, 45 runs batted in. 1-2 pitch. This one smoked to second. Dick Green has it. The Yankees go in order. We go to the top of the second. Oakland leads the Yankees 2-0. So, Crusader, I never got a chance to ask you what digital games do you play at this point? You may have mentioned before, but and forgive me for not remembering. All right, here's Angel Mangual. Dave Duncan and Dick Green due up for the Oakland A's. Mangual hitting .281 with 4 runs batted in. Fritz Peterson brings it. 1-2 pitch. Mangual sends this out to left field. Roy White backpedals, comes in. Just kind of misjudged the ball, but made a nice play. So great play there by Roy White. Brings up Dave Duncan now. Oakland catcher, 248, 7 homers, and 28 runs batted in. Here's the pitch. Duncan swings, fly ball. Bobby Mercer has it measured and makes the grab. 2 up, 2 down. So, Dwayne, don't know if you're still here or not, but I got to tell you, man, ever since the surgeries, doing these games now, not having to use any readers or anything, feels so good. I got to thank Dwayne, man, because he knows I was freaking out about having those surgeries, but nothing. So Crusader says that he's mainly played out-of-the-park baseball in Stratomatic. He says he's on the fence regarding Action PC because I don't know if he would want it in light of having out-of-the-park baseball. So I felt the same way, Crusader. So quick anecdote that other people's have heard. And you also have App of Baseball for Windows. Cool. Let me know if you need anything for that game, by the way. So hey, Jeff, how you doing? Jeff, one of our brilliant writers. You guys got to check out Sports Gaming Journal by STJ Jamie Marshall. Jeff Ray has written some great stuff. What a gifted writer he is. So, Jeff, great to see you, man. So, Crusader, long-time out-of-the-park player. I was pretty much out-of-the-park baseball and App of PC baseball, right? Baseball for Windows. And so, and I'm living in Europe at the time and starved for baseball. Because, I mean, there's some European countries, Holland, where I live, does have professional baseball. Again, none of these at the caliber of Major League Baseball. Although, when I was living in Holland, they did win the World Baseball Classic. So, I'm looking around, and so this guy named Al, Red Sox fan, was playing Action PC baseball, and I'm like, all right, whatever. Because I thought if I didn't find any baseball, I was just going to fire up out of the park baseball. Well, the thanks are well deserved, Jeff. I was just blown away. Yeah, so that's where you and I are alike, Dwayne. Like, don't even come near my eyes. My girlfriend will try to touch my eyes. She's like, you have beautiful eyes. She'll try to touch them, man. And I jump back 10 feet. So she does it to mess with me now, but she doesn't even get near them. But yeah, man, it was fine. So anyhow, back to this Action PC story. So I'm watching Al play this game, and I'm like, okay, this looks pretty cool. And of course, this game's come a long way since 2017. But I'm like, and I asked in the chat, I said, hey, man, how you doing? Blah, blah, blah. I wasn't a creator yet or anything like that. And I said, does this come with all the seasons? And Al said, no, you got to buy them. Well, I didn't know at that point what a great company DK Sports was, the customer support, not to mention the sales, and even the great regular prices on seasons and other stuff. So the next day, I'm really thinking, I'm like, okay, I got out of the park baseball, have all the seasons. For baseball for Windows, I've got everything from 1871 to 1997 and can create what I want. And it's like, do I really want to do this? And I also had old time baseball. I forgot about that one. So the next night, again, it's like 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning in the Netherlands. And Al was playing another game of Action PC baseball. And I'm watching and I'm like, this is cool. I think I want to buy this game. So I asked Al, I said, hey, man, I don't know if you remember me from last night. I asked about this. I said, where do I find this game? And I went on there, and that was it. I went all in. And I'll tell you what, Crusader, Out of the Park Baseball and Action PC Baseball are my two favorite digital baseball sims. They're just incredible. They complement one another very well. And this year, Action PC has blurred the line now, as it does have something similar to the a career mode of play that you have in Out of the Park Baseball. Um, so you know, here's the thing with it, Crusader. The customer service is phenomenal. DK Sports, best in the business. I do give a shout out to Imagine Sports, of course, makers of Diamond Mine Baseball. In fact, I had to submit a problem to them, having a issue with player photos. Um, a pocket pennant run, but that's because I know Paul. But they do a pretty good job too. But DK Sports is top of the heap. Tons of sales, but even without the sales, prices for seasons are reasonable. I went all in on this game. I have every season, from 1880 to now, plus all their other major league products. I didn't buy any Pacific Coast League, but I have all the Negro League stuff, and I absolutely love this game. And it looks simple, but it's almost as deep as Out of the Park Baseball, almost. And I love it. I love it. I would say, man, maybe pick up the basic game if you're not sure. Maybe pick up a season of your choice, or if you're like me and you like to do what ifs, pick up the baseball history collection, and you've got about 200 lifetimes of baseball just with that. Again, I'm no show. I don't work for DK Sports. Dave Cook wouldn't know me if he tripped over me. But all the people there are great. Stevens Point, Wisconsin, small time developer, but they do a lot of games. And I'm not interested in the other sports, but I've seen people play, the football game, the hockey game, um, golf, everything. They're all excellent. This, I think, is their jewel, though. But again, I'm biased. I mean, you got cool things here like this baseball card. Look, if I click on the field, I mean, the display's neat. And the other thing I think that I like about this, Crusader, is that I love the baseball card look to it. I love the fact that now it's a board game companion. It has a legacy mode. It's got the pitcher batter matchup tool. So this is something that Out of the Park Baseball does not have. So I'm not going to pinch hit for Dick Green at this point, but I can look on my bench here. I'm managing Oakland, and I can look over here to see, okay, and it does take account of the game situation. So what's going to be the hit percentage and what's the home run percentage? So Don Mincher, for instance, would have a 16.11% chance of hitting a home run off of Fritz Peterson and an 18% chance of getting a hit. But if I'm just looking for somebody to get on base, I would probably go Kurt Blefary. I really like that. And outside of the game, this tool works as well, and it's great, I think, for roster construction. There's so much in this game. You can do customized reports. It does really deep leaderboards. Um, it's absolutely just a phenomenal game. Um, you know, it really, really is. You look at the rosters. So just giving you a quick tour. I know you're on the fence, and again, I get nothing from this, but just to show you, right? So you got your basic lineups and stuff, all the ratings. So the ratings are created from the stats. There's nothing arbitrary about these, but just like out of the park baseball, everything is deeply editable. Partially, maybe why you're on the fence is like, okay, both games offer so much. Why do I need one if I have the other? But I do think that they do complement one another nicely. So you can be looking at splits and stuff like that. Um, you've got real versus your replay, so great way to track stats here, both for batters and pitchers. Usage, which you can see down here, you're getting deep, even into the game, right? So being able to track usage is really, really nice. Player info, um, right? And then bio stuff, whatever. There's going to be the notes. These you can write in whatever you want for players. Here's all the manager stuff, and then you can get into really, really deep manager settings. You can manage usage and stuff for your batters or how you want to use them. So again, like in Action PC Baseball, you can define different roles for your hitters, the same for your pitchers, as you can see here. And then a lot of the other stuff is going to be tracking during. So the other thing too is right here. I can look at box scores outside of the game, but I can just have a quick glance here. But again, this is just the dime tour of what this thing can do. This is an incredible baseball game, and if I had it to do all over again, I would still go all in on it. Dick Green hitting .232, 3 home runs, 17 runs batted in for him. Peterson deals with 2 down, and the 0-1 pitch. This one, liner lined hard into right field. Little going for that ball. Green is going to stop at second, so extra base hit. 6th double for Dick Green in the season. It brings up Catfish Hunter with 2 down. And Hunter swinging away, of course, and room service bounce there to Horace Clarke to retire the side. No runs, 1 hit, no errors. And we go to the bottom of the 2nd inning. The Athletics lead the Yankees 2-0. Bobby Mercer leading things off here. Mercer at .305, 4 home runs, 35 runs batted in for the New York Yankees center fielder. Hunter deals 1-2 pitch. Mercer passed short into left field, so under the glove of Campaneris. Joe Rudi gets the ball back in. Looking at Bobby Mercer here. So Bobby Mercer in the real 1971 with 14 steals has stolen 4 here in this legacy project. Another nice, cool thing that you probably noticed, Crusader, and once we get around the ordo, you'll see something super cool up here. But what I love about this too is you get the inning summary. So and you can't do this in out of the park baseball. If I hover over the top of the first, I get a recap of what happened, which I think is really nice. So for every inning, I have it turned off, but you can also mouse over here and get the box score right in game. You don't have to click out anywhere if you don't want to. All right, here's John Ellis. John Ellis hitting 204 ribbies for him. And there goes Bobby Mercer. We're talking about him having some speed, but gunned down by Dave Duncan. Does Action PC offer results in a score sheet format? That's something I wish Out of the Park did, and I think Strat includes that feature as well. So, yes, you have to. There's a setting in here where it will give you either like. So when you're talking like, yeah, I'll show you that. So it will show you a score sheet, so it does keep score like as you would, and I know that's something Out of the Park I wish it did. It does do it. Diamond Mine Baseball does it. Out of the Park Baseball is kind of a rare bird, and that it doesn't do that, which you're right, man. I wish that we could get Matt Arnold and Will Bay and all the guys to add a score sheet, an actual nice score sheet. Even Pocket Pennant Run, New Kid on the Block does it. But yes, it does a real nice newspaper or does a real nice. No, sorry, thinking about the box score. The score sheet is really nice. In fact, maybe I can show it to you here, what it's doing so far. So there you go. There's your score sheet so far. But you will also see it at the end of the game where it's going to be really kind of nice and done in nice columns and everything, easy to read. But I mean, there's nothing weird about this. You could read this and know what's going on in the game. There's just no guessing at all. So, Davis tapped back to the pitcher. So 1-3, a 3 unassisted. Sal Bando does a nice job, and it's right there for you. It is right there for you. And then you can just move away, and it goes away. All right. Hunter deals to Ellis, and curveball in there for strike 3. So Catfish Hunter is going to hang up his first K of the game. Brings up John Little now. John Little definitely overperforming right now in 1971, a 198 average, but he is hitting 263 right now. Hunter deals, Little swings, tap back to the mound. Hunter off the bump, over to Davis for the 1-3 putout, and that ends the inning. No runs, 1 hit, no errors. 2 in the books here at Yankee Stadium. The Oakland Athletics lead the Yanks 2-0. All right, back at the top of the order, Bert Campaneris, Joe Rudi, and Reggie. I don't think you had the Reggie bar yet, did you, in 1971? I don't think so. All right, Fritz Peterson deals 1-2 pitch, and Campaneris swing and a miss. Fastball by Peterson. So Peterson hangs up his first K. 1 down. Joe Rudi 1 for 1. Triple RBI that scored Bert Campaneris. Peterson deals 0-1 pitch. This one just out to left field. Roy White backpedals and gloves it for out number 2. Reggie Jackson, 0-for-1. Again, riding that 6-game hitting streak. So here's what I wanted to show you, Crusader. As soon as I hover over, I can see what Reggie did. And every at-bat, and this will track every at-bat. And I've been begging, hoping, and so with Out of the Park Baseball, it will 70% of the time show you what went on in the last at-bat if you look at the play-by-play, which I rarely do, unless it's something I can't quite figure out what's going on the field. And I just noticed I got the shortstop too close to second. Again, it doesn't matter, but I love that. Considering how detailed the game logs are in Out of the Park Baseball, it's a wonder why they never offered a score sheet feature. I might ask them, since I'm doing some beta testing, it's like, guys, could this possibly, I got to fix that. I'm so OCD about this. I'm sorry. I'm going to ask them, is like, could this be a thing at some point? Could it be a thing at some point? What am I trying to fix? Second baseman. And is it shortstop I'm trying to fix? I don't know. Okay, I don't know. Oh, maybe is there a shift on? Maybe there's a shift on. I have no idea. Yep, they got a shift on Reggie. That's what's going on, I think. And Reggie Jackson strikes out. So, no runs, hits, or errors. We go to the bottom of the third inning. Oakland holding a 2-0 lead over the New York Yankees. That 74 game last night between the Phillies and the Mets went into extra, scoreless tie. It was Seaver versus Carlton. Hell of a game. We had a lot of fun. All right, here's Jerry Kenny. So the Yankees will get through their lineup finally now for the first time. Just 1 hit thus far off the Catfish. 0-1 pitch. We'll make that 2. This one, hard ground ball past short into left field. And, oops, sorry about that. So Jerry Kenny is aboard. He has a steal so far this season, 9 in actual 1971. Here's Gene Michael, switch hitting shortstop, hitting 241 in the season, a home run, and 12 ribbies. There goes Kenny, and Kenny has himself a stolen base, second one of the season. So the Yankees bring a little bit of speed to bear. 1 stolen base for each team now, Campaneris and Kenny. Count 0-1. the throw down, there goes Kenny again. Look at this, steals second and steals third. Yankees looking to get something going here. Nobody out. Gene Michael back in the box. The count 0-2. Michael swings, hard ground ball, and they're going to go. Davis will go to Hunter. They're coming in to score. is Jerry Kenny. So those two stolen bases put the New York Yankees on the board. It's 2-1. Dan Burke, my favorite Irishman, he says, I think a cool part of the game is the different screens when you hover over the Action PC icon in the bottom of your screen when you're playing a game. Yeah, it's brilliant. This is absolutely brilliant. Again, what it does, I love this. You know, again, Fritz Peterson hasn't batted yet, but looking at their baseball cards, real nice. There's a lot of information. This was a edition, I think, in the 2023. I think it was. There's other things also that you can turn on in this game that I don't. You can have fence markers on here. You can choose to have batting coaches, or or base running coaches, and there's a lot that you can automate. You can actually play this, um, you know, just having the computer manage both sides if you want. I love the fact that right here I can look at the bench, I can look at the bullpen. You know, I can double click. I can bring up the guy's card, look at his usage thus far, just what have you. You even have game logs, which is really nice. So for Jim Rowland, we see here in a game that he played against the Chicago White Sox, he went 1 for 3. And we can actually look at this outside of the game. You can bring up any player's card and you can actually track what they've done, which is really, really cool. So there's all his game logs right now. And again, I can't bring them up while I'm in an actual game that I'm playing. This is pretty nice. You can also sort by opponent. So deep, deep game. It really, really is, and worth the price. I think the basic game is $29. But yeah, super cool, right? So here, now we go to this bottom of the third. Kenny grounds a single between third and short. I know you guys all saw it, but then he stole second, stole third, and then Gene Michael grounded to first, and Kenny scored on the play. And I really wish that Out of the Park Baseball had that. With all the widgets, even if they made it a widget, that would be incredible. Pitch counts. So if you're into pitch counts and stuff like that, you get to see the pitcher's pitch counts not only, pardon me, in the lineup screen on his pitcher card, right? So there it is. You can also see up here. So all over the place. And then down here, you can also see it. So much to this game. It's incredible. Here's the pitch to Fritz Peterson. And Tapper to short, Green to Davis. And that will be out number 2. All right. And we're back at the top of the order for New York Yankees. Horace Clarke grounded to first back in the first inning. This game brought to you by Ballantine Beer, because they used to have a Ballantine Beer sign out there in Old Yankee Stadium. So, well, this is Old Yankee Stadium, but back in the day. So I don't think that's there anymore. These are movable. I like having the picture up here. You can have player photos on the field. I don't like it. I think the heads on the field look weird. So it's a very, very customizable game as well. Down to how the scoreboard looks for each team, if you want to do it that way too. Here's the pitch to Clarke. 2-0 pitch, Campaneris. Few steps to his left, glides and throws. And that's it. So, but 1 run, and that was a nice manufactured run on 1 hit, no errors. 3 in the books here at Yankee Stadium. It's Oakland 2 and the Yankees 1. All right, Tommy Davis, 0-for-1, leading it off. Sal Bando on deck and Juan Manuel in the hole. Tommy Davis grounded back to Peterson in the first inning. Peterson deals, 2-1 pitch, popped in the infield. Michael calling off Kennedy and makes the grab, 1 away. Sal Bando, as I said, has been tearing it up offensively. Most home runs and RBI in all of baseball in this project. Grounded to first, back in the first for Sal. 3-0 pitch, Peterson loses him. Bando will take the 90-foot trip down to first base. Bando has 2 stolen bases on the year, and stole 3 in 1971. So Bando, decent lead off of first as Mangual steps up now. Flow out down the left field line, back in the second. Peterson checks the runner. 1-0 pitch. Bouncer to Kenny. Kenny to Clark. On to Ellis. 5-4-3. Double play. Pitcher's best friend. No runs, no hits, no errors. 3.5 gone, and it's 2-1. And there's Mike, Sports Time Machine. He says, this is Yankee Stadium 2, Yankee Stadium 1. Yeah, we'd have the old scoreboard. Got you. Thank you, Mike. Mike, huge Yankees fan. Every bit as much a Yankees fan as Bernie Strom is a Red Sox fan. And on their channels, you see for Mike, a lot of Yankees, and for Bernie, exclusively Red Sox. So, but I've seen Mike play other teams and stuff, but a great channel. And Mike, I'm just hoping, praying, all that. And if you sent me any messages on Facebook, I'm not ignoring you. I just haven't been on Facebook. So if you're in our Discord, Mike, just hit me up there. That's the better place to reach me. But I'm hoping that you will get back to broadcasting regularly. Dude, I miss your games big time, my dear friend. So Mike, so JT Dutch jumping right in. 73 is when Steinbrenner bought it. So this is right before the Evil Empire. Cleveland shipbuilder George Steinbrenner. All right, Jake Gibbs flew out to shallow right last time up. Hunter with a 2-2 pitch, and Gibbs swing and a miss on the Catfish Hunter, and that will be a strikeout. So Catfish now with 2 strikeouts on the game. There's Roy White, line to second, back in the first. 1 out here in the Yankee fourth. Here's the pitch. Oh, my goodness gracious. Swing and a miss. Catfish Hunter just bringing the heat. That one, though, a little bit off speed, so just 89. 2 down. Bobby Mercer, 1 for 1. One of only 2 hits for the New York Yankees. Singled back in the second. All right, Bobby, a little wave of the bat. Hunter brings it. 1-2 pitch. Mercer sends this out to left field, and Rudy ranges to his left, gloves it for out number 3. So once again, the Yankees turned away. We go to the top of the 5th inning. Close, good game here. 2-1 in favor of the Oakland Athletics. Okay, your laptop biffed. I had that happen to me too. Mike, let me do that for you right now, okay? Let's get you taken care of, brother. Got to get you taken care of. Jeez, I got a lot of things I got to catch up on here too. All right, let's get you invited here, mister. All right. Let's bring out these damn comments again. Oh, they are popped out. Where'd they go? There we go. Pop them out. There's Nathaniel. Nathaniel. There you go, Mike. Says migraine week. Sorry I missed the Super Bowl marathon stream. Dude, your health is way more important than any silliness that I'm doing here. So just take care of yourself. That's what's important. That goes for everybody. All right, here's Dave Duncan. Flew out back in the 2nd inning. Duncan will be leading things off. It'll be Duncan, Green, and Hunter due up for the Athletics. Peterson with the 1-0 pitch. This one popped toward the third base side. Jerry Kenny calling off G. Michael, and he will make the grab for out number 1. Dick Green 1 for 1 now, batting in the number 8 slot, and had a big double back in the second. Keep trying, brother, and also allow yourself the time to get better. Sometimes stressing and trying to get better only exacerbates the condition, as you know. JT says, Steinbrenner promised to be a hands-off owner. That's funny. When his group purchased the Yankees, if you can believe that. It's given what Steinbrenner did, wow. Yeah, he was about as hands-off as Hugh Hefner was for the Playmate of the Month, man. Come on. Ask Billy Martin how hands-off George Steinbrenner was, right? Oh, my God. All right, here's Dick Green now. The pitch, 0-2 pitch, and Dick Green, big swing, got a piece of it, but Gibbs holds on for the strikeout. So Peterson bringing a little slow fastball action there. He's not going to bring it up into the high 90s. All right, Catfish Hunter, 0-1, grounded to second last time up. Peterson with the 1-1, hard ground ball to second. Ellis feeding on to Peterson, and that will retire the side. We go to the bottom of the fifth inning, 2-1 in favor of Oakland. At least Steinbrenner had a sense of humor. He did. He definitely had a sense of humor. Good old George. And, I mean, there was that great story, because there was some enmity between Steinbrenner and Yogi Berra, and thank God they got that worked out. And Steinbrenner admitted he was wrong. So pretty cool for George Steinbrenner. But, that's Yogi Berra, damn legend, and wonderful, wonderful things. So you got to give him that. Among other things, I mean, Steinbrenner did what he had to do, man. It's way back when Billy Crystal did Fernando Lamas. He did a Fernando's Hideaway segment with Steinbrenner, and it was hilarious. I'll have to look for that, man. Definitely have to look at it. Billy Crystal, big, big baseball fan. Definitely have to check that out. Because I know about his Fernando Lamas imitation, and it was just hilarious. Just hilarious. All right, John Ellis. So Ellis, Little, and Kenny do up for the Bronx Bombers. Hunter deals. First pitch swinging, popped up the chimney and down into the glove of Dave Duncan for out number 1. All right, Jim Little now. Jim Little's 0-1, and he tapped one back to Catfish Hunter last time up. Count even, 2-2. Long fly ball out to medium deep center field, and Juan Manuel goes back and makes the grab over the shoulder. And here's Jerry Kenny manufacturing that lone New York run. Stole second, stole third, and then would eventually score. 1-for-1. So New York hasn't had a lot to cheer about, but then a few people here from Oakland haven't either. Tight ball game. All right, Catfish works. 2-2 pitch. Kenny sends this one sinking liner out to center. Manuel has it for out number 3. We've played 5 here in the Bronx. 2-1 in favor of the A's. So it's on YouTube. I'll check it out, Crusader. Thank you, man. All right, we're back at the top of the order for Oakland. Bert Campaneris, Joe Rudi, Reggie Jackson. Campaneris in the game has walked and struck out. Campy also with a stolen base. Fritz Peterson, 3 strikeouts and 2 walks. Doing a pretty good job here. Holding these Oakland Athletics to just 2 runs and 2 hits. 1-2 pitch, and line drive base hit into right field. This one getting between Ellis and Clark. Little gets the ball back in quickly. You got your invite, Mike. Did it work? So now you can reach me on the Discord, brother. Because my laptop went nuts. Now I've got it fixed and running, but I'm migrating everything. This is a new PC. So for some reason, Facebook thinks I'm an imposter on this PC. So I check Facebook like about every week and a half. So I don't want you to ever think I'm ignoring you. Easier to reach on Discord, buddy. All right, Joe Rudi is 1-for-2. RBI triple back in the first and then flew out in the third. Peterson deals. There goes Campaneris, and Gibbs comes up a-gunning, but 13th stolen base for Bert Campaneris and his second today. It's hard to keep Campy from committing a larceny. It's just going to happen. Peterson deals. Rudi, here's the throw. Campaneris, he looks at Jerry Kenny at third as he slides in, gets up smiling, and he says, pal, if you can steal second and third, so can I. So Oakland trying to manufacture a run here with nobody out in the top of the 6th inning. Joe Rudi back in the box now. 0-2 pitch. Rudi swings, base hit, right field, and Campaneris will come in to score. Joe Rudi picks up the RBI single. It's now 3-1 in favor of the Oakland Athletics. Oakland at 32-17 in the project, and the Yankees at 33-12. All right, here is Reggie. Struck out his last time up, but in the first inning, ground ball that scored Joe Rudi. 6-game hitting streak here for Reggie. Peterson deals 0-2 pitch. Make that a 7-game hitting streak. Little plays it on the short hop, and they're going to stop Rudi at second. So 2 on. Oakland mounting a serious threat now. Peterson, let's see, where is he now? So he's about 2/3 on his pitch count, so or almost 2/3 on his pitch count. And here's Tommy Davis. Tommy Davis has not gotten the ball out of the infield yet. Peterson brings it home, 1-1 pitch, and he does now. Base hit into right field, and the Oakland Athletics have the bases sold out. Doing all the human questions, I guess it thinks I'm part zombie. Yeah, I know, it sucks. All right, Nate, just take care of yourself, man. Just take care. You are here in spirit, and it's all good, buddy. You just take care of yourself. All right. So, no place to put baseball's leader in home runs and RBI, Salvatore Bando. So Bando has grounded and walked. Rudi at third, Jackson at second, and Davis at first. Fritz Peterson surrounded by white elephants. So, all right, here's the trivia question: why the white elephants for the Oakland A's? How did that come about? That's your trivia question for tonight, gents. Peterson deals to Bando. Bando grounder to short. Will they turn 2? Michael to Clark to Ellis. Rudi will score on the play. Could have been a lot worse. 4-1 now as Oakland plates 2 here in the top of the 6th inning. Reggie Jackson will move to third in the play. Manuel is nothing for 2. We'll see who gets the white elephant question. Peterson from the stretch, 2-0 pitch, routine fly ball to center. Bobby Mercer has it measured and gloved for the final out. 2 runs, 4 hits, no errors. Bottom of the 5th here at Yankee Stadium. And it is 4-1 in favor of the Oakland A's. So JT says he's going to sit this one out, don't want to show off. All right. We don't get an answer in 5 minutes, JT. It's all yours, brother. I actually sort of gave it away by accidentally saying the original city they were in, but you got to make that connection. Michael Peterson had to do with Finley selling player. Nope. That's a good answer, but no, it actually it has nothing to do with Finley. So hint number 1 is it had to do, right, had nothing to do with Finley. So hint number 1 had to do with a great baseball manager. That's hint number 1. Now, there's a lot of great managers. All right, here's Gene Michael. He's nothing for 1. So he grounded to first that scored Jerry Kenny, and that was that inning that Kenny stole second and third, and then Campaneris, of course, also did it. It was not Connie Mack, but of course, Connie Mack figures into it being the manager and, of course, the eventual owner, or I guess major stockholder, however you want to put it, of Oakland. But, Mick, you are in the right era of baseball. You're in the right era. All right, second hint, if you listen to my broadcast enough, the manager I'm talking about I consider to be the greatest manager in baseball history. So that's hint number 2. So great manager, And Beatles eternally feels the greatest manager in baseball history. Sharp baseball mind. Hint number 3. Great numbers as a player. And he's a definite Hall of Famer. Managed a long time. Not as long as Connie Mack, but a long time. He also played for the Baltimore Orioles in the 1890s. And an Irishman. Connie Mack's an Irishman too, but Mack was a Pirate. All right, here we go. That's some pretty good hints, I think, there. What do you think, JT? Pretty good hints? Hunter deals, Michael swings, and this one, soft liner right to Sal Bando at a not very hot corner right now. So welcome in, Nick. Good to see you. Crusader says the mention of Finley reminded him of the story Al Michaels told regarding when he and Bob Uecker called a game. This should be a fun story. If you don't mind typing, man, I'd love to hear it. Because you got to love it, man. This has got to be good stuff. All right, Fritz Peterson. So Finley wanted to turn the baseballs yellow. I remember reading about that, and Uecker said it would never work. So Al asked him why not. Oh, my God. This should be fun. Uecker's reply, not enough diseased horses. Oh, my God, that's brilliant. I never heard that story. Thank you. Oh, my God. You know what? You got Finley, man. You got to give him some love, man, Charlie O, because he some of his innovations were certainly interesting, to say the least. But that's classic. That's classic Bob Uecker. Nothing to do with Joe McCarthy. Nope. But you've got, again, you have the right. So I'll tell you this: you have the right initials, Michael. So you're zeroing in. You're zeroing in. All right, Fritz Peterson, nothing for one. Hunter deals. 0-1 pitch. Pitcher taps to pitcher. Hunter to Davis for out number 2. All right, back at the top of the order for the New York Yankees, here's Horace Clarke. Grounded to first, grounded to short. Hunter deals, and this time hit with some authority. Hard ground ball into left field. So New York with a runner on board, 2 down for Jake Gibbs, who struck out his last time up. Hunter deals, and little tapper, Bando ranging far to his left. Bang Bang played first, and they're not going to get Gibbs. Turning on the afterburners. So had Bando let Campaneris get to the ball, that could have been out number 3. So maybe a nice little break here for the New York Yankees. Nothing for 2 for Roy White. He is lined out and struck out. You know the question too, Cousin Ken, but I will say it again. Since we're playing Oakland, my question is, how did the white elephant come into being and be associated with the Athletics? Who is the reason for that? Welcome in, Aaron Reed. JT says Ken will get it. Yeah, Ken will get it. So I've already put out some hints for everybody. No. So just the right initials, Michael. So JM. Yeah, you know the answer too. And again, I've said, so one of the hints was the man who I believe was the greatest manager in baseball history. Figured largely in why the white elephant is. JT, you want to take it over, buddy? Go ahead. And don't anybody feel dumb about this. This isn't something that... This is like some of that baseball minutia, weird stuff. Hunter deals to White. 0-2 pitch. White pops this one high into left field. Joe Rudy gloves it, and the Yankees turned away. So here we go, gentlemen, and JT knocks it out of the park. John McGraw did a little trash talking, to say the least, saying the Athletics were white elephants after Connie Mack signed a couple of high-priced players. Rube Waddell was one of them. Yep. And if you look at John McGraw's numbers as a player, 340 lifetime batting average. So McGraw, one of those rare managers that was a great player and a great manager. So, yep, John McGraw. So just to add, let's add a little bit more to that. So John McGraw played for those great rough Orioles teams in the 1890s. John McGraw would then jump to the American League in its on its inception, right? Yep, the New York Giants manager, Michael, you nailed it, right? Faster to base paths. Oh my God, yeah. McGraw, incredible base stealer. So many great things you could say about John McGraw as a player. So McGraw jumped to the American League, felt he wasn't treated well, literally hated, loathed, deep loathing of Ban Johnson, the American League president, jumped back to the National League. And of course, you guys know the story of why there was no 1904 World Series. John McGraw just refused to play it, and New York Giants owner John T. Brush backed him up. And so there's the story. So McGraw absolutely, wow. But they ended up playing in the 1905 series because McGraw felt badly that his New York Giants, who, in fact, the beginning of the 1905 season, even though the 04 World Series was not played, you can see this on YouTube. You can see it on the Ken Burns baseball documentary. You will see them raising the flag, the the Polo Grounds, World Champions 1904. Did anybody really like Ban Johnson? No, not really. Comiskey hated him. JT Justice after the 1905 series when Max A's beat McGraw's Giants. Mac gave McGraw a stuffed white elephant. So you gotta love it. There's two Irishmen, right? Cornelius McGillicuddy, Connie Mac's real name, and John McGraw. Now that's okay, Michael. You're not alone. So this channel, this family, whatever. Hey, speaking of somebody else that knows some early baseball, there's a professor. Kind of dedicated, even though I'm playing a lot of 1970s baseball right now. It really is dead ball 19th century on this, just because I love that. I love 1871 to 1919. Love it. Just love it. So a book I would recommend for anybody that wants to learn a bit about the dead ball era is Tales from the Dead Ball Era. There's better books, I think, more in-depth books, but it's a good, quick read. It's funny, super informative. You get to learn why umpire Brick Owen got his nickname, and what a rough, violent game dead ball baseball was, and 19th century baseball. Oh man, rough game. And as Bill James wrote in the when he writes in the Baseball Historical Abstract, he said if the what was it if the he said if 1880s baseball was dirty, he said something about 1890s baseball. 1890s baseball was wicked. People talk about the Baltimore Orioles. Everybody who played in the National League in all those teams, man, spikings. McGraw would, I mean, you would get, right, he would grab your belt if you were trying to advance. I mean, things like that. But McGraw didn't complain when the same was done to him. You enjoyed the Ken Burns baseball series? Yeah. Excellent documentary. And yeah, Mick didn't know that I'd like dead ball. See that? Mick, you learn something new every day. Oh, man. All right, Dave Duncan, nothing for two. But we are playing in my second favorite era. So I do put 19th century and dead ball together. But my second favorite sort of time in baseball is 1970. I love 1970s baseball. I really do. All right, Fritz Peterson staying on here in the top of the seventh inning. 4-1 Oakland lead here in 1971. 1-1 pitch. This one hit high and deep to right, but just short of the track. Little was going to bring it down for out number one. Doff of the cap from Fritz Peterson out to his right fielder. Dick Green struck out his last time, 1 for 2 with a double. Peterson comes home. 1-1 pitch. High drive to left field. Open the window, Aunt Minnie. Dick Green touch them all. And it's now 5-1 Oakland. 351-foot shot here at Yankee Stadium. Clinton has at least 25 projects, and that's good. So he's playing in the Federal League. Ken says he'd always like to play the Players League. That would be fun. Players League would really be fun. There's some good talent in the Players League. John Montgomery Ward. Big reason why players did those dirty things in the 1890s is because there was only one umpire in the field. Yep, obviously couldn't see everything. So too, JT, even when you get into early dead ball, so let's say early 20th century, because 1893 really is dead ball baseball also. But a lot of times you still had one umpire in those early years. You were lucky there were big games that you would get maybe two. Michael King Kelly, man, my favorite 19th century player. His method of stealing third was right. So for those of you who might not know, when a runner was on base, the umpire would move from behind home plate to behind the pitcher. So Kelly would wait till the umpire was looking in, and he would literally cut across the field from first to third. One of your favorites, John Montgomery Ward, smart man, and saw the issues, with the reserve clause. Baseball players back in the day, so way back in the 19th century, when the reserve clause was introduced, and it was introduced out of owner greed, but for those players, they embraced, a lot of the players embraced it because they felt, hey, we're guaranteed a job the next year. But John Montgomery Ward saw through it. Yep. So 1893 is that year. And also the other thing is the foul strike rule, thanks largely to one Wee Willie Keeler, who could foul a ball off all day. So the foul strike rule. But 1893, largely accepted by baseball historians as the beginning of modern baseball. So you got it, JT. And we got two 19th century guys in here, Ken Castro and Clinton. I'm not as good 19th century as those guys. I sort of start getting, like 1901, then things start making a little bit more sense. But I'm getting better with 19th century. But I won't do a 19th century game unless one of these two guys are here. You get John Montgomery Ward confused with the magazine Montgomery Ward. Yeah, I get you, Aaron. All right, so Catfish Hunter, 0 for 2. It'll be Hunter Campaneris and Rudy here in the top of the 7th inning with one down. So I should just say, I forgot there was a one down. Too busy talking about baseball. Look at this. Catfish Hunter ropes this one into left field. So base hit for the Catfish. And here is Bert Campaneris, 3 steals today. He and Jerry Kenny each stealing second and third. 2-2 pitch, popped in foul ground behind the plate. Gibbs makes the grab, 2 down. Joe Rudy having a good day. He is 0 for 3. Joe Rudy has himself 2 RBI in this game as well. So should Oakland hold on and win this, Joe Rudy in line for player of the game honors. Peterson brings the 0-2 pitch. Fly ball, Little making the catch. 7th inning stretch time and kind of a yawner. It's 5-1. And there we go. All right, Aaron is channeling. So yeah, I'll tell you an umpire channeling is in her hair to carry. Uh, Angel Hernandez. I think it's not that Angel Hernandez didn't see things. I think Angel Hernandez just uh, saw what he wanted to see. Maybe we can say that before. Curmudgeon, great term. I love the word curmudgeon. It's one of my favorites. In fact, I've referred to Clinton as our family curmudgeon because he is. So the Yankee Stadium shows Yankee Stadium the teams compared to the stadium of today. And of course, one of the big changes was because this facade out here, this beautiful facade. When you look at old Yankee Stadium, these would have been, well, I can't show you on a mouse, but above the grandstands behind home plate. So John Boy recently did a great breakdown of when Joe West threw out Andre Dawson. Dawson launched all those bats onto the field. Classic. Classic. I like John Boy, by the way. I like that. I like the channel. I like that channel. A diva umpire. So he was good when he came up, Aaron, but something happened. I don't know. You accept the curmudgeon moniker with your usual modesty. I love that you do, because you wear it. You wear it beautifully. You really, really, really do. Yeah. So the monuments were in play, too, Michael, as you know. Those monuments that we can't really see, but the monuments were actually in play in the old days, right? I mean, old Ebbets Field, the flagpole was out, it was in play in center field. But could you imagine? You're going back, and I think there's a player talking about it, and I can't remember who it was. Maybe Mike knows, Sports Time Machine, if he's still here with us. And he was talking about. He said, "I'm out there, and I'm thinking, what if I have to go back to center field?" For a ball in center field, I got Ruth, I got Gehrig out here, these monuments, these iconic things. So, yeah, they were in play. Injuries didn't mean a damn back in those days. Angel will be down in spring training calling games. Good God. Bobby Mercer, 1 for 2. It'll be Mercer, Ellis, and Little. We're going to pick up the speed on this one a little bit with a 5-1 score, unless the Yankees can make something happen. 2-1 pitch. And here we go. Bobby Mercer, Herbie. Ground ball, base hit, right field. Jackson up with it, gets it to Dick Green. Mercer aboard, was caught stealing earlier in the game. John Ellis, nothing for 2. Popped a catcher last time up. Count full, and Ellis swings, got a piece of it. Dave Duncan holds on. 92-mile-an-hour fastball there by Catfish. 1 down, and here's Jim Little. I keep wanting to call him Dave Little because I haven't seen Dave Little around in a while in our community. Hopefully, Dave is doing well. Here's the pitch by Jim, or the swung on by Little, and this is going to be just a basic 3-6 play. So fielder's choice. Kenny now at the plate with 2 steals today. Passion for the game. He defended royally. Still carry that innocence about baseball. Robert Duvall said that line best in The Natural. Yeah. Robert Duvall's character in that movie is really, really interesting. Injuries didn't mean much when Cousin and you were kids. Nothing like the threat of mercurochrome to make you feel better. Shit. These guys would they talked about this gash where Hannes Wagner was spiked. And so this was during a game. All these players gathering around the Flying Dutchman. So they had him hidden but he actually pulled down his britches, right? And everybody's like tobacco and mud. Wagner packed it in there, played the game, and then went to the hospital and got 23 stitches. These were some tough, tough dudes. I mean, you look at some of the pictures from these guys that played in the 19th century in dead ball. I mean, you look at John McGraw, weighed like 135 pounds, and he would go up against anybody. Didn't care, man. Or, would you want to tangle with somebody like Dan Bruthers, Bad Bill Dolan? Any of those guys, man, just a different breed, man. And you had to be. There was no minor leagues that you could play. You didn't have agents. You just had to you had 16 teams, and that was it, man. Love it. Crusader says, wouldn't have minded having Angel being there today in the majors with the new system being in place to appeal balls and strikes just to make them look bad. Ken laughing about Mercurochrome. Dudes, I remember that too, man. Mom had no trouble putting that shit on, and I learned very quickly, just don't go in. Because the pain of the cut or the scrape that you had out there was far less excruciating that orange demonic concoction that Mom had at the ready. Oh my God. Yep. Mom just give you a band-aid. Get back outside and play. And that's what my mom would say, man. She'd put on that Hellfire Mercurochrome and say, all right, get back outside. Kids these days, dude, I'm sorry, but they couldn't even handle Mercurochrome. You know it, I know it, we all know it, man. I could be that guy. Get off my lawn. I'm at least old enough for that. Bobby Byrne played a Stanley Cup game on a broken leg in 1967. Yeah, again, you're right, Ken. Completely different time, different era. Didn't Wagner pound his mitt? So it was the ball. So 1909 World Series, and that was a big thing because you had really these two great stars. And so the buzz leading up to the 1909 series between the Pirates and the Tigers was they're finally going to meet, right? So Wagner outperforms Cobb in the entire World Series. But is it apocryphal? I don't know. The story's been told so much. So Cobb's on first, and he yells down to Wagner, and he says, I'm coming down on the next pitch, Krauthead. And Wagner says, come ahead. So the Bucks are ready. Gibson fires down, and Cobb was off to the races. Moon Gibson fires down to Wagner. Wagner gets the ball, jams it into Cobb's mouth, loosened a couple teeth, and Cobb had to get like 2 or 3 stitches. Cobb said, however, so this is like the sort of the Charlie Root Babe Ruth thing in the 1932 series, right? So Ty Cobb says, you would have to be crazy to do that. He said, that didn't happen. He said, running into Wagner would be like running head on into a block of granite. But there were a lot of spikings, a lot of injuries in that 1909 World Series. So, am I ready for spring in the World Baseball Classic? Damn right. I was ready in the last out of the 2025 World Series. John McGraw's a player was like, imagine, JT says, imagine Billy Martin as the best player in baseball. I would agree with that. Yep. All right, here we go, back to it. So thanks for letting me extol a little bit about dead ball in general and Cobb and Wagner specifically. It'd be fun to play the 1909 World Series. Maybe we'll do that some night because somebody here mentioned that they missed dead ball because I haven't done dead ball in a long time here now. All right, 1-1 pitch. A little grounder there to Dick Green. He will take the short route to Tommy Davis, 4-3 put out. And we have completed 7 here at Yankee Stadium, and it's still 5-1. All right, Reggie Jackson, Tommy Davis, Sal Bando. Peterson deals, 2-1 pitch. Popped up the chimney. Gibbs has it for out number 1. Nice play by Gibbs. Back against the wall, able to reach in and get that ball. Now, I got to tell you guys, back in the old parks when they didn't have the netting up and stuff like that, because you sit behind, I don't care who you are, you sit behind home plate and you've got that screen, that netting up there, that ball's fouled back. Everybody is still flinching. Everybody is still flinching. But imagine back in the day, right? Because even look at this park, because, right, Major League Baseball, this netting has to actually extend all the way up, right? Much, much further even than you see here, because it's kind of like tailing off here. But imagine before this netting and a ball's foul tip, that thing is coming back at you, man. And I know when I see a baseball game, I am not ashamed to admit it, man. I duck, even though that netting's there. Do a what if 1904 World Series, Giants in Boston? I'd love to. I would love to. maybe we'll do that. That'd be super easy to set up in this, or even easier, actually, in out-of-the-park baseball. All right, here's Tommy Davis, 1 for 3. Again, we're not going to worry about what they did at this point. 1-1 pitch, line drive, base hit, right field. Ninth hit for the Oakland Athletics. Sal Bando, quiet bat today. Grounded to short. Bando swings, fly ball, and Jim Little, ranging to his right, will track it down. 2 down now for Anquel Mangual. 0 for 3. Pitch. Fly ball to left, has some distance, but Roy White has it measured up. Bottom of the 8th, 5-1. Gene Michael will be batting here, and then we'll see whether New York will allow Fritz Peterson to stay in the game. RBI single back in the 3rd for Gene Michael. Hard hit ground ball. This one lined actually way down in the corner in left field. Joe Rudy plays the carom off the wall. Strong throw by Rudy, but Gene Michael picking off a leadoff double here for the New York Yankees. All right, Fritz Peterson probably not going to bat. Nope, he won't. All right, 1 down. Who did they sneak in there on me? Damn it, who did they sneak in there on me? It's the right Frank Baker, wrong picture. So sometimes that happens, but it was the correct Frank Baker. All right, Horace Clarke, 1 for 3, 1 down. Hunter deals. Clarke, tapper to first. Tommy Davis unassisted. On the play, Michael moves to 3rd. Here is Jake Gibbs. Swung on, fly ball, out to Manquel, and that is it for the Yanks. We go to the 9th. Lindy McDaniel will now come on to pitch for the New York Yankees. So McDaniel's number right now in this project, he's 4-0, no saves, 14 innings pitched for Lindy. Finishing his warm-up pitches, he will face the bottom of the Oakland order, Dave Duncan, Dick Green, and Catfish Hunter.
Hot dog, dear.
McDaniel deals, first pitch swinging. This one scorched up the middle. Base hit for Dave Duncan, and the Oakland A's now in double digits in hits. What about Strat? All you ask is manual dice rolls. Could easily do it in Strat, but yeah, they're unfortunately can't do dice rolls in it, but we could do the World Series in Strat Max, but it would be, the virtual dice rolling. So we have plenty of options to play the 1904 World Series, Boston and New York, and I wonder who Clinton is going to be rooting for. You gotta wonder. A big mystery, right? Okay, so Duncan on her first. And again, guys, don't feel bad about maybe not getting some of these little trivia questions about, baseball before 1930. Because the idea of this channel is to remember those players. So these trivia questions are never meant to make anybody feel like, oh shit, wow, I don't know enough about baseball. No, that's not it at all. Because you guys could ask me stuff about 1980s baseball, and you're going to stump me all the time. And I like 1980s baseball. All right, here's Dick Green. Last time up, solo shot for him. McDaniel deals 2-2 pitch, and this is going to go out of the park, but the other way, into the seats. 2-2. Dick Green strikes out. Fastball. Here's Catfish Hunter. And he's going to bat for himself. Swung on, hard ground ball to short. Michael will just go to Clarke. Fielder's choice, and Hunter aboard. Here's Bert Campaneris back at the top of the order. 1-1 pitch. Campaneris hard hit ground ball. Ellis to McDaniel. And let's go to the bottom of the 9th. New York Yankees down 4. Yeah, still learning. And also to educate. Absolutely. Absolutely. The team that had that young old man playing for them. Love the pun, Clinton. I still got to say this, though. The award should be the Walter Johnson Award. Matt, there you go. 3-4-5 due up for the Bronx Bombers. Roy White, Bobby Mercer here. Bobby Mercer. I want to see Bobby Mercer just jack one, even if it means nothing. Catfish Hunter looks fine. So 4-run lead. Let's see. 3-1 pitch. Long fly ball. Sinking liner actually out to Antoine Mangual. And that is out number 1. Bobby Mercer 2 for 3. Come on, Bobby. Crank one. Well, he draws the walk. All right, here's John Ellis. 0 for 3. Duncan out to have a quick word with Catfish. 0-1 pitch. Ellis swings. Green to Campaneris. Good hard slide by Bobby Mercer will break up the potential 2-ball. All right, it's down to Jim Little. Yankees down to their last chance. Yankees may fall to 33-13. Still a good record, leading in the American League East. Little swings. Davis feeding on to Hunter, and that's your ball game. So not like that 1974 game we played last night on Out of the Park Baseball. Let's look at our recap here. For the Oakland Athletics, they improved to 33-17. 5 runs, 10 hits, no errors. For the New York Yankees, 1 run, 6 hits, and no errors. Catfish Hunter improves to 10-3. Fritz Peterson falls to 5-4. No real highlights for the New York Yankees, as you can imagine. Just that 1 run back in the third. For the Oakland A's, Dick Green went 2 for 4 with a double. Joe Rudi 2 for 4 and 2 runs batted in. And Bert Campaneris 1 for 4 and 3 stolen bases. We did have a triple in this game, and we had 1 home run. Looking at pitching here, Catfish goes the distance. Gave up an earned run, walked 1, struck out 5, an ERA of 2.54 right now for Hunter. For the New York Yankees, Peterson worked 8. Not a bad job, really. Things kind of fell apart for Fritz. Well, not really in 1 inning, but I think that 6th inning kind of just, that was it. That was it, right? 5 earned runs on 9 hits, a home run, walked 2, struck out 3. Lyndon McDaniel worked 1 in relief and struck out a batter. I'm thinking Joe Rudi is probably going to get player of the game, but let's see. Nope, Catfish Hunter. All right, let's back out. Thank you, Michael. Having a lot of fun, and there you go. You're welcome, JT. You guys, good win for Oakland. So Oakland widening that lead a little bit now, 6 up on the Chicago White Sox, and New York feeling a little bit of heat now from the Detroit Tigers, and we're about to jump out of here, but I just want to see what else is on this day. We are in the 31st of May, 1971. So obviously there's going to be Fergie Jenkins, Steve Blass, Cubbies Pirates. Pirates at 34-13, and Chicago 26-22. The Cubs are tied with the Mets for second, 8.5 back of the Bucks. So important game here, interdivisional game. I like the matchup here with Detroit and Minnesota. Detroit in contention. But Lolich and Cott, I think, is a pretty good matchup. What else do we got? Yeah, Stone and Royce, decent. But neither St. Louis nor Atlanta right now. Atlanta, 1 game below 500. Some of these I'm just going to autoplay them. Like Washington is just out of it. They sucked anyhow, no matter what that year. Baltimore. So McNally, Dave McNally and Joe Horland. This could be a good game to do as well. I usually don't do a lot of San Diego Padres game, but we may do this for Jim Bunning. Yeah, it's good stuff. But we're going to leave it here in 1971. Jenkins and Blassie, that's going to be a good matchup. It's going to be a really, really good matchup. So, and we actually do have second game of the doubleheader between the A's and the Yanks. Let's just go ahead and play it out. Well, no, you know what? I like this lineup though. Odom and Kekich. So, let's just auto it. And Oakland takes both ends of the doubleheader 8-5. So Odom improves to 1-1. Kekich goes to 0-1. Gene Tennis went 2 for 4 with his first home run in 2 runs batted in. So Detroit hasn't done anything. So boom, there we go. That's it. A little action PC baseball. But yeah, 1904. You guys would like a 1904 World Series. Let me know what game you'd want to see it in that I have, and I'll set it up. Um, anything that I have installed at least. So Action PC, Out of the Park, Pocket Pennant Run, Strat Max, Full Count will be reinstalled, Diamond Mine, whatever. I think it would be awesome. Yeah, this is a holiday weekend. I'm off Mondays. You guys are off Monday because it's President's Day, and I'm off just because it's my day off. So maybe we'll do some Sunday night baseball too. But I'm having fun with this 1971 project. Crusader, I don't know if you're still here, but if you are, I want to show you one more thing. So much here you can do. But I'm going to go to seasons here just quickly. And I think I've shown this to you before, but there's tons and tons and tons of freebies for this game. If I don't mind taking the time, how about Out of the Park Baseball? It literally, Clinton, will take me. In fact, if you guys don't mind hanging out for a minute, let's cancel. There's lots of freebies you can download. Great freebies for Action PC Baseball. All right, so let's bring up Steam. And let's go to library. And we're going to just set it up right now. Look, you guys, Out of the Park 27. Ooh, can't fire it up though. Not allowed. Not on stream. Out of the Park 26. 1971 season. It's Memorial Day weekend. Yep, didn't become the fourth Monday. It should go back to what it was. It should go back to what it was. All right. So, easiest thing in the world to set up a World Series in Out of the Park baseball. So let's do this. So we're not going to start the game tonight. Historical exhibition. And we can't really select a World Series. So we've just got to select the 2 teams that we want in this way because there was no World Series then. All right. So we're going back to the dead ball era and 1904. And we need the Boston Americans and dead ball era, 1904. New York Giants. New York Giants, we're going to give them home field advantage, better record. So, if anybody really cares, the most competitive race in American League history ended with Boston becoming the league's first repeat champion. The up-and-coming now, of course, this is race in American League history to this point. It's not, because look at 1908, half game. But anyhow, the up-and-coming New York Highlanders had a chance to win independence. So the only time New York in the American League is good prior to Ruth and whatever was 1904. Good team in 1904. The up-and-coming Highlanders had a chance to win the pennant on the final day with 41-game winner Jack Cheesebro, the bane of everybody in the Shanks Fields of Dreams and I forget the Diamond Legends League now they're calling it, on the mound. But Boston eked out a 3-2 victory as the winning run scored on a wild pitch. The Americans lineup lacked a 300 hitter, but veteran Cy Young chalked up 26 wins and 200 strikeouts to keep Boston on top. He tossed the first perfect game in American League history on May 5th against Philadelphia Athletics. Napoleon Lajoie led the league's hitters with a 376 average and 102 runs batted in. The New York Giants ascended to the throne in the National League thanks to Iron Man Joe McGinnity and Christy Mathewson, who won 68 games between them. In the first season of the 154-game schedule, the Giants racked up 106 victories to take the title by 13 games over the Chicago Cubs. Hannes Wagner led the National League hitters with a 349 average, but his Pittsburgh club could do no better than 4. So it was an off year for the Bucks. That didn't happen too often in the 1900s with the Pittsburgh Pirates. Anomalous year for them. McGinnity led the league in ERA at 1.61, and Mathewson was the strikeout king with 212. The World Series between league champions was abruptly discontinued Canceled when the Giants refused to engage Boston in a battle for the overall title, feeling they had proved their superiority during the season. So this is set up. We're going to be let's make it. Do you, Clinton? I'm going to leave this since this was your idea because this wasn't always a 7 game. Do you want to make it a 7 game or a 9 game series? It's up to you. We'll leave it up to the professor, and we will do a 1904 World Series. So Giants better record. Got to give them the home field advantage. So what do you say, Professor? 9 game series or 7? I'm going to disable while we're thinking about this. I'm going to disable injuries, and I want the rosters to be end of season for this. 7 games. Okay, you got it. All right, and let's go ahead and create the exhibition. Boink. And so we can look at lineups. So we don't have to worry about that tonight, but we can fix the lineups. So there are the rosters, there are the lineups. See if everybody is happy with those. So right now we're looking at Boston. You got Stahl, Selbach, Perrin, Freeman, Krieger, or Krieger, I don't know which. I guess it's Krieger. Jimmy Collins, one of my favorite players from that era. There's Jimmy. Candy LaChance and Hope Ferris. Looking at the New York Giants lineup, McGann, Brown, Bresnahan, Donlin, Bowerman, Devlin, Dolan, and Gilbert. So pretty wicked stuff there. Pretty wicked stuff. But this is ready to go. So again, we can set up different teams' rules. We've done that. Rosters, lineups, adjust them as they are. And this thing's ready to go. So, look at game 1. Look at game 1. Look at that matchup, man. Cy Young versus Christy Mathewson. Oh, I so want to push the button, but I won't. Not tonight. This deserves its own broadcast. So, game 2, you got Jesse Tannehill and Red Ames. Game 3, Dummy Taylor, Bill Deneen. Game 4, Norwood Gibson. You guys are going to have to tell me a little bit about I can look up Norwood Gibson. 17 and 14 that year. And then, so games 1 and 5 are going to be amazing, as are games 2 and 6. Should be fun. So game 1 at the Polo Grounds. So just real quick. So we can change that. I can fix that if you want. So we can move Bresnahan around if you want to do that. If you're feeling like it, we can. You got to remember though that with this version, or so the tournament version or the historical exhibition is not, it's in the main game, but it's not really part of the main game. It's sort of separate, if that makes any sense. So the other way to do a World Series in this is to set up a league and just have it with just those 2 teams, and then you can get in and go deep. But just for a quick World Series, let's have fun with it. Okay. But what you want to do is, after you create an exhibition. Okay. Oh no, only rule is the Duke of Tralee did not catch in 1904. All right. Well, let's look at Mr. Bresnahan, and he's not catching. So it's going to be Frank Bowerman, which makes sense. Frequent battery made of Christy Mathewson. So when you go, after you create this, you don't say, you go back here, it's going to save everything. But then what you want to do, guys, in case so you don't get messed up, go to load game, and you're going to look at wherever it says historical exhibition. Make sure you got the right ones. Click on it and rename it, or else you'll get lost. So 1904 World Series. And that's it. And you're done. And it's ready to go. So Mick's saying that Bresnahan played mostly center in 1904. So it's ready to go, but we're going to go ahead and we're going to cancel, and that's it. I'm really I can't wait for March. I put a lot of hours. This Out of the Park Baseball is my most played game on Steam, by far. And I mean, I have a lot of hours in a lot of other games, but this is to me. Whew. But that being said, Action PC Baseball is it's an incredible game. And so let me see, what do we got here? What do we got? Got a couple people hanging out. So let's bring back Action PC for a moment. Just a moment. Okay, good. Everything is still sharing properly, and that's nice to see. I just wanted to show like some of the freebies available for this thing. So, Zep 213, is it? Did these all-time franchise greats, for instance. These are absolutely free. So we go to let's go to 1970s all-time franchise greats. Let's double click it and let's save it. And it's set at 1971, but it's not. It's not that these are the 1971 teams. It's normalized to 1971. So if I look at my Pittsburgh Pirates, for instance, you can see obviously because there's Omar Moreno, right? But this is a really fun set to play with kind of everybody there. I don't know what Kent Tekulve. I guess did he play a game in the outfield? I have no idea. But this is a homebrew, but it's a lot of fun. And since Ken's here, we got to look at the Philadelphia Phillies too. So this is 1970. So you're going to see some doppelgangers in here. But there you go. These are fun. Probably the star of all of these, though, and I'm not knocking or wanting to sell short some of the work that these other guys have done. But it's the Steve Tate 5-year franchise files. Last time we showed the American League. Let's find the National League now, so we can have proper baseball. So I just honked off Clinton there on that one, I think. I don't know where the hell it is. This is the most recent one. Freely downloadable. Boom. So Steve hand did all of these players. These are not DK Sports data. So you have Digital Diamond Baseball for your hours. Have a lot of Fall Classic logged in there. I believe it. I love Digital Diamond Baseball, but I've got to. I've taken such a hiatus from it. But again, so we can picture what Steve originally did was this is like a 5-year snapshot. And at first it was going to be these teams like won the World Series or in the postseason or whatever. But then Steve noticed that players like Ralph Kiner, weren't in the league. So there are some teams now that you will see, like the 1946 Pittsburgh Pirates originally weren't in here because look, they're 76 and 78. But this is incredible. You couldn't play this as a season. Steve meant this is a draft league either by team or by player. But if we look at the 72 Pittsburgh Pirates, this is actually the Pirates from 70 to 74. And so that's, you got Dave Parker here, but you also got Roberto Clemente. Parker just was 64 games, of course. We can look at any other rosters that you might want. So for Clinton, let's look at Boston, and let's pick the Boston Red Sox here. I accidentally picked Brooklyn. I'm sorry. I love Brooklyn. That must have been a Freudian click. Oh, I killed myself. Oh, and I'm sorry. Here I am in the National League. So forget Boston. I know that wasn't nice either. Aaron's still here. Let's look at the 1940. So this is the 38 to 42 Cincinnati Reds. It's a pretty tough team here. Some pretty big names. This pitching staff was not bad. Bucky Walters, Paul Derringer, and Johnny Vandermeer. It's pretty wicked. Just that. I don't know what the rotation is set up in this. I would probably change this up a little bit. I don't know that I would want Ray Starr as the number one starter, but that's easy enough to do. Anyhow, freebie. And all I've ever done is just play some exhibition games in this. It's just, I'm like, what do I want to do with this? We were doing a lot of talking last night about the Brooklyn Dodgers. So there you go. Looking at hitters. I mean, you can see why this was such a great team. I have to I have to reassign ballparks in this right now. But all the usual suspects are in there. Let's go to some later baseball. Later baseball here, just so folks don't think I'm just that guy, even though I am. Let's look at the San Francisco Giants. I know Dwayne hates the Giants, but there you go. Angel Pagan. When was the last time we heard that? There's Angel Pagan. Of course, Jose Pagan, who I'm thinking of. But there's Buster Posey. So, lots of folks in here, man. Lots of teams. 90 plus teams that Steve did for these, and that's an incredible amount of work. There's Montreal. Marquise Grissom, Delano DeShields. There's Larry Walker. There's Mark Grudzielanek, or his right? Moise Alou, Sean Berry. This is really, really a lot of fun to play. All right, JT, thank you, my friend. Thank you for coming in. Really appreciate you, man. You know that. Guys, I guess that'll do it for me, too. Oh, my God. Calling. Oh, you got to be up early to shovel out. That sucks. All right, Clinton, be well. Everybody, be well. Thank you to everybody for coming in, as my eyes are starting to blur out. So we're going to go ahead and kill that. Until the next time we meet, as I always say, we'll see you around the batting cage. You guys rock. You're my family. Good night.